Latest football news,
engaging debates,
and fascinating opinions.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Hello and welcome to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio. It's Fridays at 5 p.m. with me, George. Well. We've got a big show for you today. But before we start that, I better introduce who's here. It's our League One expert, an angry Ipswich fan. Yes, he's now an angry Ipswich fan. It's Dan. Dan, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm still a bit angry after Tuesday, but not doing too bad.
Not doing too bad. How's lockdown treating you? When I had the first full day of lockdown part 2, I think we can now call it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I am pleased that football's still going because I think without football we would have been pulling our hair out. But yeah, getting ready for it. So
yes. Thank God we have got football. Well, we've got plenty of stuff coming on to show you today. But before we start that, I better mention the social medias. As always, Twitter at Pitchside Talk, Instagram Talk_Pitch, YouTube Mixcloud Pitchside Talk. If you want to subscribe to any of our previous shows, or even this one, if you missed anything of today's show, they'll be up Fridays at 6 p.m. Well, Dan, we're going to be talking about today. We're going to talk about Ipswich Town, the Premier League, and the Champions League. Don't worry, it's not deja vu. That is the only sort of big new stuff we actually have to talk about, unfortunately. We've done it for 3 shows in a row now.
Yeah, nothing else has happened.
Nothing else happened, but I promise you next week it will all be changing. We'll have some other stuff to talk about. We've got international break, so that'll be all fun.
You sound very enthusiastic about that, George.
I am very enthusiastic about it because, it's just, it's just boring football. You watch Jack Grealish not play and England losing to some team that have about 5 part-time bankers or something in their team. But when we come back, we're going to be talking to Ipswich Town. We had another 2 games in 4 days. One happened on Saturday, one happened on Tuesday. Dan was happy on Saturday, but a little bit different motion on Saturday.
Stay up to date with the latest footy news.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio. It's Fridays at 5 p.m. with me, George, and Dan. As always, bringing you up to date with all the latest football news around the world. But before we get into our next section, which is Ipswich Town, I better mention the social medias, as I always forget. Dan, I'm very useless to this answer. I'm not very good at my job, am I?
No, you're better than I'd be.
Oh, okay then. I'm better than what Dan would be.
I'm better as a co-host.
Yeah, I'm not very good at giving my opinions on things. I always get mucked up, but we'll get there eventually. Right. Twitter at Pitchside Talk, Instagram Talk_Pitch, YouTube and Mixcloud Pitchside Talk. If you want to back to any of our previous shows, or even this one, if you missed anything in the show, it'll be up Fridays at 6 p.m. straight after the show. And Dan, we better get into Ipswich Town. And this week we had 2 games in 4 days. Again, not deja vu. Just the season's been so packed in November. Another busy football period. And Ipswich starts off with a victory at home, making it 2 out of 2 home victories, a 1-0 victory over Crewe, thanks to Ollie Hawkins finally getting his first goal, breaking that duck. But it's a bit weird because I saw Peel got notifications that Chambers scored. So it's a little bit weird, but Ollie Hawkins scored. He got his first goal, not Luke Chambers. But Crewe did push Ipswich all the way, with Lambert saying that they rode their luck. So we shall take these 3 points. But damn, quick thoughts on Saturday's game. Ipswich quite lucky just to walk away with 3, perfectly honest here.
Yeah, I think we are. I think Lambert's right. We did ride our luck, especially in the first half. I really do think that Crewe, they were really good pass inside, and they were running rings around us pretty much the whole first half. And thanks to Thomas Holy, we stayed in the game. I have to say that save that he made from close range was, that's the best save he's made at Ipswich so far. So well done to him for saving that, because that was amazing. But he kept us in the game. But then we came out in the second half, we looked a bit better. And then we kept, plugging away. I think Crewe, turned off for just 5 or 10 minutes. And, Hawkins got his first goal in that. We were clinical, which is good. So, yeah, Hawkins, off the mark for the season. He didn't come in to score goals, but I think he has that aerial presence that we needed. So, yeah, good for him to get his first goal. And then we held on for the win. Maybe not the most comfortable win and not the best performance, but it's 3 points in the end and another clean sheet. So, can't really complain.
You can't mind. 3 points and a clean sheet. What a way to start off the week. But moving on to Tuesday's game, a big test. Going up to Sunderland, a side who have had a very good start to League One this season. And Ipswich lost their 3rd consecutive away game in a row against Sunderland. The first time they've done it since the 56/57 season. But it was a 2-1 victory to Sunderland. But fans, Lambert and the players were left frustrated by two controversial referee decisions that changed the tide, really, we can say, of the game, with Andre Dessel getting sent off for a tackle. I don't really know. We can say it was more of a yellow card offence than a straight red, but it stunned everybody. And Mark McGuinness's penalty awarding a penalty to Sunderland, despite Toto Nsala kicking the ball at him from about 2 yards out. So you don't know how that works. But Dan, firstly, just thoughts on the game, because it's a bit of a controversial one. This is like Wickham all over again, really, now.
Yeah, it is definitely Wickham times two, I think. But I'll start with the first half. I think from the off we were really poor. We weren't really getting into the game properly. I think we conceded a poor goal. I think that could have been avoided. It was just a pass through the middle. I think McGuinness made a mistake in there, and then Sunderland took the lead quite early on. And then we were just we had possession of the ball, but we were just passing it around the back. And I think, with the players we have and the quality we have going forward, it was really frustrating, because I think Toto and McGuinness would pass it around a bit, and then we'll give it to Chambers, who'd pass it back to McGuinness, and then he'd pass it to Dessel, and then Dessel would turn and look to go forward, and then he'd just pass back again. So it was just really frustrating. We weren't creating anything. But then, we scored the goal. That pretty much came from nowhere. It was good from Edwards and a lovely finish from Lancaster. He's off for the season, which is good. Good to see him back and scoring again. But then after that, we were like a different side. I think after the goal and after half time, we were really good. We showed some really good stuff. I know I said on Twitter we were all right at times, but I was very angry at that point. So, I was really angry while tweeting that. So I didn't really say what I thought, but I thought we were really good at times. I think Bishop was excellent, and I thought Lancaster was really good as well. Some of the runs Bishop was doing were really good. And then, we got to the time of the red card. It was still 1-1, and then the red card. I just can't get over that decision. I think, from what I see of it, Dessel, I think he miscontrols the ball at first, and then the ball kind of bounces in front of him. He gets shoved from a Sunderland player in the back, and then he falls down. He reaches his leg out to try and, get the ball away, because I think there was a player in front of him. And then Lidbitter comes in. I think there's a bit of contact. He goes down on his leg, and it was a massive shock that the red card came out. And I think the crucial thing is there was absolutely no reaction from the Sunderland players whatsoever at all. And I don't think the Sunderland players thought that was a red card either. And when he brought out that red card, I was like, I just can't believe it. I cannot believe it. Our players were frustrated as well. I think it was surprising, because the ref, he was quite lenient throughout the game. Every time Bishop got the ball, he was fouled, because the Sunderland players couldn't do anything about it, and no cards were given. Suddenly a red card, which was so frustrating. And then, the penalty. I think I'm more frustrated about the penalty than I was the red card, because I think the ball comes in, it's cleared away by McGuinness, headed back into the box by the Sunderland player. It's missed by McGuinness. He's literally stood about a yard in front of Nsala. Nsala just, his instinct is to clear it, because that's what you need to do. McGuinness has his back to Nsala about a yard out. The ball hits his, probably between his elbow and his shoulder, and the ref gives a penalty for it. I couldn't believe what was happening. I really couldn't. I cannot believe that was given. I know there's this whole new handball rule, but what could McGuinness have done about that? He was literally stood a yard away. The ball was... I just don't understand how McGuinness could have got out of the way of that. I really don't. Yeah, no, and I think the ref lost us the game. Ledbetter took the penalty and scored, and we lost the game. I think Sunderland weren't really anything special. And I think if them decisions didn't go against us, I think we had it in us to win the game. So it's super frustrating that the ref's two decisions cost us the game. Ran over.
Ran over, yeah. Well, Lambert was left frustrated as well down at the referee. He slammed the referee once again, like he did at Lincoln, by saying, you look at Dessel, that wasn't in a million years a red card. I think you just said there, when I watched it, it looks like he loses. He's not in control of it, but that's not a red. He didn't go in with his legs, and he's not a vicious player. And
No.
London players didn't react as well. I think they were stunned. I think everybody was stunned. Unfortunately, these things happen. But Ipswich have a launched appeal against the Dessel red card, so we'll find out what happens to that in the coming days. And also he had his thoughts on the handball. He said, he's not even looking at the ball. Like Mark McGuinness wasn't even looking at it, so it's not a penalty. But he said about the act, I think the rules have changed. Why is that not being filtered down? But last time, Ipswich lost was against Lincoln. He blamed the referee for what happened in that game. It's all the ref's fault. But was he right this time to blame the ref for the defeat?
Yes, absolutely. Them two decisions cost us the game. The difference with Lincoln is, with Lincoln, we didn't look like scoring at all. I don't think it was the ref's fault. Nsiala made that challenge. I know there was 2 challenges on Bishop before that Lambert thought should have been given before their goal, but still, Nsiala shouldn't have made that tackle and shouldn't have given the ref the decision to do that. And Nolan's tackle was a red card. So I don't think he can really complain about that ref, really. But this time against Sunderland, it was 2 absolutely shocking decisions. And the thing that annoys me is the officials will get away with it. He'll be refereeing another game in League One or the Championship at some point in the future, because the refs are protected. If a player makes a mistake, he's held accountable. So why can't refs be? It annoys me. It really does. They're protected, and he'll just be refereeing another game at some point. I guarantee it.
He probably will, but it's that sort of what happens when you're in this sort of league. You're going to expect not the best caliber of referees. We had this last season with the Wickham situation, and a lot of fans went, "Well, that's our fault for being in this situation. We shouldn't be in League One." Is that just
exactly?
Really? Is that just a problem? When you come down to these levels, you're going to expect not the best caliber of refereeing.
Yeah, I think that is a problem that you need to face, and I think you need to think about that while you're playing, because I don't know, in the Championship I thought the officiating was bad, but that is absolutely nothing compared to what we've witnessed in this league. And then I wonder what the officiating is like in League 2, if this is how it is in League 1.
Oh no.
Some of the decisions are made in this league are just unbelievable. So yeah, I think that's just something that teams need to deal with coming down to this level. There's going to be referees that are not at the same level as in the top levels of football, but it doesn't give. I don't think the refs can still make decisions like that. Just because they're lower quality, they still need to make the right decisions. And I don't know. I just think that I don't know what the EFL can do about it. I just think refs need to be held accountable if they make a mistake. I really do, because it was a mistake that the ref made on Tuesday. He's probably looked back at that and thought, yeah, maybe I did make a mistake. You never know. He probably isn't, to be honest. But yeah, as you said, it's something that teams need to deal with, and we're going to have to put up with it for the time that we're in this league. I'm fed up with League One, George. I really am.
I think everybody is, unfortunately. Well,
yeah.
Moving away from the negatives of the game, looking at the positives, Ipswich played quite well in the game, which Lambert praised. So his side were excellent, but also Ken Jackson back in the side after only previously playing 15 minutes of football this season, back after, I think it was a hamstring problem. Then he had that test, which was positive, so he had to self-isolate for 14 days. But he's now back in the side. And Jack Lancaster scoring his first goal since Millwall in the 18-19 season, or Dan, perfectly honest, 672 days between goals. Quite a long goal drought for Jack, but he's back. Jack is back. We can now finally say that with a smile on our face. But it's great to see these 2 important players back in Ipswich, because they could really help Ipswich in trying to get out of League One, because they have 2 very good players for Ipswich Town. Yeah, they are. It's good for Lancaster to get that goal. And, he was out for so long with that injury, but I think he's back, and I really like the look of him at the start of the season. I think he came on at Bristol Rovers. He immediately got an assist, I think, as soon as he came on at Bristol Rovers. And I think he's been performing really well. So, I think he's definitely knocking on the door of a start, of starting, every game. I know Lambert likes to play Edwards on the right and Sears on the left, but Sears is struggling at the moment, so I'd put Edwards on the left and Lancaster on the right, if I was perfectly honest. And yeah, Jackson, good to see him back as well. To be honest, I was surprised to see him start at Sunderland. I think our team overall was quite weak. The team that he put out, I thought Hughes and Hawkins would definitely start away at Sunderland, but Jackson started, and he didn't have the best game, but it's good to see him start again. I don't know if he'll really suit the system that we play. I think he's better when there's a 2 up front. I think him and Norwood link up really well, but I think maybe Lambert will try and maybe play a system around him, but I don't think he really suits this system. But it's good to see him back, obviously, from his positive test, and let's see how he does. Let's hope he gets back to scoring goals. Yes, let's hope he gets back to scoring goals. I think this is sort of his first proper start since March, I want to say. when he got that red card, didn't he, at Portman Road? I
Yes,
can't
he
remember
did.
what match it was.
Yeah,
Oh.
he stamped. I think it was Fleetwood, wasn't it? He stamped on someone.
No, it wasn't Fleetwood because I
Was it
remember
not?
being in that game. He wasn't there. I think he started his match suspension. Oh my god, it's going to
Was it Oxford? I reckon it was Oxford.
Oxford. It was Oxford.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a loss, and it was like in the last few minutes, and nobody saw it.
No, I remember.
Yes, yeah, it was good to see him back after not playing. But back to the game. Despite all the referee controversial decisions, it is another defeat for Ipswich Town on the road, 3 in a row away from home. Another defeat against a top 10 side, pushing for promotion. Luckily, Ipswich, the results went in the way for Ipswich Town, with Lincoln losing. Hull didn't play, but they're going to have now a game in hand over Ipswich Town. But as you said earlier on, the first goal from Charlie Wick was avoidable. It was avoidable. But is it just a massive concern playing these big top sides? Because, Doncaster, some of the goals were avoidable. Lincoln, the penalty was avoidable. The first goal for Sunderland was avoidable. So theoretically, it should have 3 points missing there, or 5 points maximum missing. This is going to be crucial, and that's coming in. It's going to be a big concern for Ipswich Town, isn't it, going forward?
Yeah, it is a massive concern. Obviously, no matter what we say about the ref and how we deserve to win, or the ref was against us, we still lost a game, and that's another team that are in the top 6. So, yeah, it's definitely a worry, because it seems like the same thing is happening as last season. And to be in the playoffs at the end of the year, I think we need to be able to beat every single team below that top 6, which is going to be difficult, obviously. So, yeah, it's definitely a worry, because it just seems like the same thing's happening. I think Lincoln and Doncaster, we didn't deserve to win both games. We weren't good enough in both games. And I don't know what it is. Obviously, Sunderland, we were good for parts, and we maybe should have deserved to win, but we still lost. I don't know what it is. When we come up against a team that's good, our game plan just goes out the window. I think when we play a team with less quality in the league, we're able to do that. But when we play against a team with decent side, I think they just know how to play against us. That's what I've seen. Lincoln and Doncaster, they just know our system, it seems, and they know how to play around us. And what I've noticed is we have possession of the ball. We're trying to play possession football, but the better teams know how to play against that. They just sit back and let us pass it around the back, and it's just they'll let us do that. And I think there's a lot of defensive mistakes happening, and our defense isn't great at the moment. So I think, as we've seen against teams that are higher up in the league, we'll concede goals against them. It is a massive worry, and we've got Hull coming up soon in the league, and they're flying at the moment. So I'm definitely worried about what's going to happen.
Yes, it's hopefully that fortunes will change for Ipswich Town very soon. But Dan, this Saturday is FA Cup time. All the League One sides and League Two sides are competing in the FA Cup this weekend, with Ipswich Town hosting at home League One promotion chasing Portsmouth. Not some simple, easy team. Let's just give us Portsmouth. Let's have a big hit straight away. And Ipswich are facing Portsmouth for the 4th time in the FA Cup. And the one concerning thing is 0 wins, 1 draw, and 3 losses, 2 of them being at home. And the last one was in the 07-08 season, where Portsmouth went on to win the FA Cup that season after beating Ipswich Town in the 3rd round. So can we say Portsmouth can win the FA Cup this season? Maybe. We don't know if stars are slowly aligned for them. But Dan, can Ipswich change their luck, or will Portsmouth continue their winning streak against Ipswich Town? Because we have seen Ipswich Town previously in the FA Cup. They go into it and want to get out of it straight away. Less games played, but it always backfires to them because it never works playing the less games. But can they change their luck really this weekend?
Yeah, it's obviously going to be difficult, and everyone knows our cup runs are awful. So it's just annoying, because out of all the teams we could have got, we got a team that are in the top 6 in League One. And I guess home draw is good, but it just annoys me because, I want a cup run, and we haven't had a cup run in so long. The last proper cup run we had was, we got to the semi-finals of the League Cup against Arsenal. That was probably the proper last one we had. So that was a long time ago now. So it is frustrating to get a team like that, because we're not going to perform well. I really don't think we'll get anything from it, because we never do, and I don't think it's going to change. I know we'll probably put out a weaker side. I know we're focusing on the league. The league is priority, but I do like a cup run. But I really don't think we'll get anything from it. I'm going to say we're going to lose 1-0. I just can't see anything. I really can't. And then, out of the first round of the FA Cup, I think.
Oh no, I like an FA Cup run. Oh come on, Dan. Oh, well then.
I know, but it's going to happen, isn't it? It's because we got Portsmouth. If we got someone else, I would have been a bit more confident. But it's just a rubbish draw.
It is a little bit. Well, that is Ipswich Town. Not a good time at the moment for Ipswich Town, but hopefully they will bounce back very soon. But when we come back, we'll be talking about the Premier League. Another game week, 20 teams in action, 30 goals scored across 10 games. I wonder what happened next.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio. Fridays at 5 p.m. with me, George. And Dan, as always, he will never leave me. He'll be here, our angry Ipswich fan, our League One expert, as always. Before I get to mention, better move on to our social medias. Before I move on to social medias, but mention our social medias. I'm losing the plot very slowly here. Twitter is @Pitchside Talk, Instagram is @talk_pitch, and YouTube and Mixcloud at Pitchside Talk. If you missed anything from today's show, it'll be live 6 p.m. on a Friday, where you can actually listen back to our Ipswich Town section, which we've just done. If you missed that, or listen back to any of our other previous shows. Well, Dan, we're moving on to the Premier League, back once again, kicking off the 7th game week of matches, all 20 teams in action, 30 goals across 10 games. And here are the results. So we start off with a Friday night game. Wolves won 2-0 against Crystal Palace. Only Norwich City have lost more games in the Premier League than Crystal Palace in 2020 so far. And Norwich lost 14 to Crystal Palace's 13. Not looking very good for them. Sheffield United lost 1-0 to Manchester City. Sheffield United have only picked up 1 point from the last 7 games. The last time they did that was the 75-76 season. And they're winners now in 11 games, the longest run under Chris Wilder, not looking very good for them. Burnley lost 3-0 to Chelsea. Liverpool won 2-1 against West Ham. Only Aston Villa in the 18-79 season, /98 season, have conceded more goals in 7 games than the reigning champions Liverpool. Liverpool, who conceded 15 to Aston Villa's 17 so far this season. Then moving on to Sunday's games, and we had an absolute thriller. Aston Villa lost 4-3 to Southampton. James Ward-Prowse was the first ever player in Premier League history to score 2 direct free kicks in the first half of a game. How interesting. Not looking good for Villa. Their first consecutive loss since July. Everton lost 2-1 to Newcastle. Carl Ancelotti has lost his first consecutive games for the first time since September 2014, whilst he was managing Real Madrid. Not looking very good for Everton. 2 losses out of 2 games. Looking very good. But another side's not looking very good. Manchester United, they lost 1-0 to Arsenal. Man U have only just taken 7 points in the last 6 games this season, the lowest tally since the 13-14 season, where David Moyes was in charge. And Arsenal have their first win at Old Trafford since 2006, and their first win over top 6 side since 2015, which was Manchester City. Long time waiting for the Arsenal fans. Tottenham won 2-1 against Brighton. Harry Kane now moves into the top 10 goal scorers in Premier League history. And Bale has got his first goal in 7 years and 166 days for Tottenham. Fulham won 2-1 against West Brom. Fulham's first win and clean sheet since April 2019. West Brom's worst start in 35 years. And Leeds lost 4-1 to Leicester. Leicester have now made their second joint best start to a Premier League season after 7 games, matching their fifth tally from the 2000/2001 season. But then we're going to be starting off with Fulham. Shock horror. They won a game. I cannot believe it. They won a game, secured their first victory of the season, moved them outside the relegation zone thanks to goals from Bobby Reid and Anita. I have to say, what a goal from Anita. Oh, top bins. No goalkeeper stops that, I guess. No goalkeeper stops that. Scott Parker has highlighted that he praised his sides for their performance, but has highlighted they need to build on this. They need to continue their form and move away from the relegation zone. But can Fulham continue this form? Or is it just a bit of a flash in the pan moment because they were playing against West Brom, who are another side struggling to stay in the Premier League here? But can Fulham build on it and surprise everybody now?
Oh, it's going to be difficult for them, isn't it? I think It's their first winning clean sheet. So, but as you said, it was against West Brom. I think, it was a relegation 6-pointer already. It's going to be two teams that are going to be down there at the bottom. It's obviously a good win for Fulham. It took them out of the relegation zone, but I don't think they'll be able to push on from it. I don't know the next fixtures. I don't really know the Premier League fixtures, if I'm being honest.
I'll look at
that. Okay, but I can't see them, pulling away from that bottom three, because we've already seen in the league table that, it's going to probably be the bottom five that it is now. So it's going to be, Brighton, Fulham, Sheffield United, West Brom and Burnley that are kind of, stuck in that bottom five. And there's going to be two places for safety probably in that relegation fight. So, yeah, I don't think Fulham have got enough to stay up. And I don't think, when they come up against the better teams in the league, they're going to really struggle, because they've gone with kind of a different approach this year. Last time they were in the Premier League 2 seasons ago, they kind of splashed the cash. That didn't work. They have signed some players this year, but they haven't really spent a lot of money, and it hasn't really worked so far either that way. I just think they haven't got they maybe can't attract the quality of player that will get them out of the league at this point if they're not spending a lot of money. But then, splashing the cash has proved not to work either. So, yeah, I don't think I can't see Fulham staying up this year. I think they're going to go down. I don't think they can get out of this.
Well, Fulham's next game is against West Ham away from home on Saturday night. So we will have to see if they can continue that form. And moving to the other side of London, Arsenal. They finally ended this winless run of 29 games against the top 6 side, well, the so-called top 6 sides in the Premier League, beating Manchester United. 29 games. For a top side not to beat another top side, Dan, that's quite incredible, I think we have to say here, for Arsenal.
Yeah.
A side that aspires to be good. They can't beat another top side, but they've done it. How big is this victory for them? Because they've now broken this duck of not beating the top 6 side. And could this be a turning point? We can now sort of say it wasn't a great game. They look better than Manchester United. I don't think either side looked like scoring anyway, but could this be a slight turning point for Arteta? He's now broken something that's been there since Arsene Wenger was there in his final periods of managing Arsenal. But could this be the time?
Yeah, maybe. I think this win's definitely important. Obviously, Man United haven't had a very good start at all. They're sitting down in 15th. So, this is a big loss for them. They were really poor. So I think Arsenal, well, as you said, it weren't a great game, but obviously Arsenal can come away with a win. So I think it's going to be big for them to beat a so-called top 6 side. They're like the Ipswich of the Premier League, Arsenal. But yeah, I think this win is definitely important for them. They've struggled so far, and I know it's really close. There's only 3 points covering like the top, what was it, 11 or 12, I think.
Yep.
So, it's still very close in there, and Arsenal still have a chance. I think, weren't Arsenal 4th like 2 weeks ago?
Yes, they were.
I think they were. I think it's going to be tough for them to get in the top 4 this year, obviously. I don't think they can do it, but I think Arteta is the right man for the job. I think he could take Arsenal forward. They kept Aubameyang for this season, which was crucial for them, as we've said before on the show. So I think they're looking good, but, I don't know if this performance will give them confidence to get against teams like Liverpool and Man City and Chelsea, whether they can actually go on and beat them teams. But I think Arsenal will be happy to win against Man United. But I do think it'll be a struggle for them to get in the top 4 this year.
Yes, we will have to wait and see if they can do it. If they want to get in the top 4, it's only 1 point splitting 4th down to 9th, where Arsenal at the moment. So anything is really possible at the moment in the Premier League. And moving on to the losers, starting off with Burnley. They now sit bottom of the Premier League table, 1 point from 6 games. They were quite unlucky not to get a point against Tottenham, but Chelsea, they looked very lacklustre and poor. I think toothless, somebody used as a way to describe Burnley. But we're sort of seeing there's a lot of problems at Burnley at the moment, lack of funding and reinvestment. We're seeing a lot of players left over the period of the lockdown season. Aaron Lennon, Joe Hart, and Hendricks left without signing new contracts. No investment really in the summer. Only Del Stevens been a real big signing. Sean Dyche has been sort of protesting. He put 2 goalkeepers on the bench to fill his bench up to the required 7 over the lockdown period of the season. But is the lack of reinvestment and funding now costing this Burnley side? Because they're struggling. They are absolutely struggling.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I think the transfer window that they had was a a big moment. I think they signed Stevens. I think he's a typical Burnley signing, but it's not one that's gonna. It's not really gonna excite anyone. So yeah, I think the investment isn't great at Burnley, and I think the transfer window that they had has really affected them coming into this season. We've seen before that Sean Dyche is an excellent. He's really good at getting Burnley out of precarious positions, but they've had such a bad start this season that I really can't see it happening. I really can't see with the squad that they have, with the quality of players that they have, where they could get out of this. They looked really poor against Chelsea. Maybe they were unlucky to lose against Tottenham, but they really haven't looked good this season so far. And I think that's down to the transfer business that they did. I put them down as they had the worst transfer window out of anyone in the country in the Premier League. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a struggle for them. And if Burnley can't get out of it and they get relegated, I think it's going to be time for Sean Dyche. I think he's been there nearly 8. I think he's been there 8 years now, hasn't he?
Yeah, 8 years.
So he's been there forever. And I think if Burnley don't get out of this rut, then I think they'll look for change and Sean Dyche will go. But yeah, it's going to be difficult for them to get out of this rut, and I can't see them doing it.
Well, that's now ruined my next question because I was going to ask you: should he jump ship?
Sorry.
Should he now be jumping? No, that's fine. Should he be jumping ship? Because we saw already how at Bournemouth he had a time where he could have gone and he could have gone somewhere better, but he didn't. He stuck with Bournemouth, and that backfired. And he was there for a long time. Should Sean Dyche now be looking at that? Should he be going, I need to go before I get stuck here and we're going to be stuck in the Championship, and he could now be the next yo-yo manager in that sort of effect?
Maybe, but I don't think Sean Dyche is looking to move right now. I think there's not really any jobs, really, is there? Because I don't think if he's looking for a better job than Burnley, anyone's going to really appoint him. It'll be a lower Premier League side, obviously, but I don't think there's anyone really that he'll be able to go to. So I think he'll stick out this season and see how they do until the end of the season. But I think if Burnley do go down, I think he'll definitely be on the edge. Whether he'll leave himself or he'll get sacked, I don't know. But I do think that this could be Sean Dyche's last season at Burnley, especially if Burnley carry on with this form. But yeah, I don't think he's looking to leave right now. But yeah, I think he's definitely getting close.
Not Sean Dyche. He can't be leaving. We love Sean Dyche. He's a staple of the Premier League. But moving on to the next losers of this week in the Premier League, Manchester United. And this season gets more miserable and miserable for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the worst league home start ever for Manchester United, the lowest points tally since the 13/14 season. He described his side and never turned up, a lack of consistency in their performance. We're seeing this from Manchester United. One game they can perform, the next game, they're not even there. I think we can sort of say in empirical terms. They beat RB Leipzig 5-0. Next game they lose to Arsenal 1-0. Like, there's a problem at Manchester United here with consistency, but they need fixing urgently. I think this is now a severe problem for them.
Yeah, it definitely is. And as you said, it's the inconsistency that is destroying them. They beat Leipzig 5-0, and then they go to Arsenal and play really poorly, get beaten by them. And it's a massive task that Solskjaer has got now. They're sitting down in 15th. I don't think he's the right man for the job. I think he's proven that. I don't know what Man United fans think, but I really don't think that he's the man for the job. And they've looked really, really poor. I think defensively they've looked, they've really leaked goals. And I don't think Harry Maguire's, he's having the worst season I've ever seen him have. And I don't know what Man United could do, because they have got the quality of players that can get out of this. And I do think they will eventually, but it's really not looking good. I just don't know what will fix them. The only thing I can think of is sacking Solskjaer and bringing Pochettino in.
Ooh, he does
yeah.
work. He's available.
Yeah, he does. I think that would be a good move for them. But I think Solskjaer's got a bit of time yet to try and fix it. I think he can fix it, but he needs to sort out the problems that Man United are struggling with at the moment, and he needs to sort out this inconsistency. Otherwise, it's just going to be a mid-table season for them.
Oh, very divisive opinions there about Odegaard and Joshua. But well, now moving on to the Premier League table, and we'll look how these results affected the table, starting off with 20th, as we mentioned there. Burnley at the bottom of the table on 1 point. Sheffield United on 1 point as well, on 19th. And West Brom now moving to the relegation zone on 3 points. And Fulham jump outside the relegation zone with 4 points in 17. Brighton is still 16 with 5 points. Manchester United still down there 15th with 7 points. West Ham dropped down to 14th with 8 points. Palace down to 13th with 10. Leeds down to 12th with 10 points. Newcastle up to 11 with 11 points. Manchester City up to 10th on 11 points. Arsenal up to 9th with 12 points. Villa down to 8th with 12 points. Only a few weeks ago, they were second in the Premier League, eyeing up to take first spot in the Premier League. They're now down to 8th. Chelsea up to 7 with 12 points. Wolves up to 6th with 13 points. Southampton up to 5th with 13 points. Everton down to 4 with 13 points. How it's all gone so wrong for them at the moment. It's quite funny to see. Tottenham up to 3rd with 14 points. Leicester 2nd with 15 points. And Liverpool 1st with 16 points. And that is everything from the Premier League this week. And when we come back, we're going to be doing a Champions League roundup with all our English teams back in action for match week 3. Let's see how they got on right after this.
Stay up to date with the latest footy news.
Pitchside Talk on IO Radio.
Welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radio's Fridays 5 p.m. with me, George, and Dan. As always, well, we better mention our social medias. Twitter at Pitchside Talk, Instagram Talk _pitch, YouTube and Mixcloud Pitchside Talk. If you want to listen back to any of our previous shows, or even this one, which comes out Fridays at 6 p.m. If you miss anything from the Premier League, Ipswich Town, Dan having a massive rant at Ipswich Town losing against Sunderland, it's all in there for you. See, Dan's very happy about that. Dan likes it. And well, just a week after match week 2, match week 3 was back for the Champions League, with all our English sides competing once again. Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea and Manchester United playing their matches. And let's see how they got on. Starting with Manchester City, they made it 3 games, 3 wins, another 3-0 victory over Olympiacos thanks to goals from Torres, Jesus and Cancelo, maintained that 100% record for Manchester City. And Pep Guardiola praising the side, especially Jesus and Stones, who returned to the side. So Manchester City's injury worries are now looking less now. Liverpool, an informed Jota scores a hat-trick for them as Liverpool make a statement in the Champions League in the beating last season's quarter-finalists Atalanta, continue their winning start. Klopp said, "My boys played an incredible game, and this is the first time ever Liverpool have won their 3 opening Champions League games to a campaign." So, looking pretty good for them so far. Manchester United, they ended the English team's unbeaten 100% winning start run as they suffered a 2-1 loss to Istanbul Başakşehir. Manchester United were criticised for their performance by pundits describing it as under 10 football, as Manchester United's defence was shocking as Demba Ba scored a goal and was onside in his own half as the Manchester defence went up for a corner, never came back. Demba Ba ran in. It was like watching Steven Gerrard slipping again back in 2013. That's how bad it was watching that goal go in. But Solskjaer described the last 2 games, which have been losses, a punch in the stomach for his side. But his happiest side is playing once again on Saturday, but they're playing against Everton. So it might not look too good for them at the moment. And Chelsea cruised to a 3-0 victory over Rennes, thanks to 2 penalties from Timo Werner and a goal from Tammy Abraham, maintaining their 100% start, getting 1 step closer to the knockout stages. But Lampard reveals some bad news from that game. Kai Havertz is out after a positive test for COVID, so he will not be involved with the side for a little bit now, but we all wish him a speedy recovery. Dan, I think we could say a mixed week for English sides. 3 out of the 4 getting victories, one of them losing to a new team in the Champions League. But I don't know what we really know what to think of it, really. It's been an all right week, can we say, for the English sides?
Yes, it's been an okay week for English sides. Obviously, Man United ruining the party.
Yeah,
that goal that Demba Ba scored was mental. I think he's 35, isn't he? Still playing in the Champions League. Awful defending from Man United for that one. But the other 3 sides getting wins. Obviously, Liverpool Jota, what a signing he's been so far. He's absolutely on fire, scoring a hat-trick. And then Man City and Chelsea winning comfortably as well. So good. Another, week of wins for them teams. But once again, Man United have got some work to do if they're gonna do well in the Champions League this season.
Yes, some work for them to do there. Well, that defeat ended their a winning away run in all competitions for 10 straight games. So that's now gone for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but it's not looking very good for them. We'll just have a look where they are in the table. So starting off with Manchester City, they are top of their group in Group C with 9 points from the first 3 games. They've got a 3-point buffer over Porto in second. Liverpool in Group D are top of their table with 9 points. They've got a 5-point buffer down to Ajax. So looking pretty good for Liverpool at the moment. Chelsea in Group E, they're currently leading it by goal difference. They're currently on 7 points, tying with Seville, who have only got 2 goal difference to Chelsea's 7. And for Manchester United, they're still top of the group despite losing, but only by goal difference. They're joint top with RB Leipzig, who have -2 goal difference to Manchester United's 5, both on 6 points. And that is everything from the Champions League roundup. And Dan, when we come back, we might do a football roundup. We'll see if we've got enough time, because that referee, he's the referee from the Sunday game is refereeing this show, and he could do some strange things.
Pitchside Talk, footy debate from the Premier League Outback.
Welcome back to Pitchside Talk here on IO Radios with me, George, and Dan, as always. Fridays at 5 p.m. And Dan, guess what?
What?
We've got a little bit of time for a football roundup for the referee blows his whistle for full time. And I've got some news for you. Gareth Bale is returning to the Welsh side for the November international games. The assistant bowler, Roger Page, has confirmed the striker was absent from the October games as he was looking to build some fitness after just transferring from Tottenham from Real Madrid. And Dan, I hear you've got some news as well.
Yes, I have. It was announced this morning that Sheffield Wednesday's appeal for their 12-point deduction has been, accepted. So their 12-point deduction has gone down to 6 points. So they go from -1 at the bottom of the league to 5, and they're now 3 points off 21st and safety. So, yep, well done for them for doing that.
Oh, good news for Sheffield Wednesday fans. Hopefully one day we'll see Sheffield Wednesday in the Premier League. We'll finally have this, the Sheffield Derby eventually. We'll finally have it.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon. Well, we've hit the end of the showdown for the referee blows his whistle for full time. I better mention social medias if you want to follow us on there, where you can see Twitter videos where we talk about match previews about Premier League. Ipswich Town as always, and me just taking the mickey out of Dan Reed for Ipswich Town losing, unfortunately. But what's on there is Twitter's at Pitchside Talk, Instagram's Talk_pitch, YouTube Mixclub at Pitchside Talk as well. Well, Dan, I want to thank you for being on the show this week. I'll see you next week as always.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
Well, I hope to see you next week. We are contracted, aren't we, to this, unfortunately?
Yeah, we are. I'm forced to do this.
Well, you're not forced.
I don't get paid otherwise.
Well, I don't get paid as well, so we've been held here, unfortunately. But yes, if you want to listen, before we go, we better mention what else is coming up on IO Radio today. So we've got the Gap Year Show 6 until 7, the Reverse 7 until 9, Flip the Switch 9 until 10. That is everything coming up on IO Radio today on a Friday. Well, I've been George. We'll see you next week. And ciao.
Yeah.
The whistle has been blown for full time. Tune in next week for another jam-packed show.